It's anger!
Let me at him! Is it true that ennui will be one of the most important emotions in Inside Out 2? Or is there really a chance of a 10th emotion emerging in Riley's mind in the second movie? If there's one thing we've become experts at, it's reading between the lines of Pixar movie stories by watching their trailers. And today, we've decided to share with you all the little details and amazing secrets we've noticed about each of the new emotions that will appear in Inside Out 2. If you want to know everything about it before anyone else, you know what to do. Just stick around until the end of the video.
Sadness is in the house!
Embarrassed. Embarrassed couldn't be better represented than by the character Pixar chose to play the role. A big, strong pink guy who's afraid to touch the hand of a girl who takes the initiative to talk to him. Although it became pretty clear to us that the one that really got interested in the big guy was Sadness.
What's your name, big fella?
That's embarrassment.
And honestly, I think the chance of them forming a nice couple is quite real. So, Embarrassed has more than one reason to hide. But being represented by a big guy shows the true origin of the emotion, since when we're embarrassed, the tendency for all of us is to think the situation is much worse and bigger than we imagine, when in reality, it's really big only in our heads. This shows that the size of things doesn't reflect the reality of what each thing truly is. This can also apply to Envious, but let's talk about her in a bit. In the trailer, we can see several moments where embarrassed becomes Riley's dominant emotion, like when the girl's rubber band from her braces flies off and hits the dentist's face. And from Riley's expression, it's pretty obvious she felt very embarrassed. Or even worse, when she tries to be funny with the popular girl who's being nice to her, but it seems the execution of the joke didn't go exactly as Embarrassed imagined, making him totally shocked with what just happened. Even though he's big, we see that the big pink guy doesn't use his hands much, as they're practically always in the pockets of his hoodie. But in a quite shocking moment, we see him decide to use his hands for other things, following Anxiety's orders and grabbing all 5 original emotions at once, which shows he's really strong and really big. And to be honest, I don't think Sadness minded that much. The fact is, Embarrassed is that guy who's on Anxiety's side, but everything indicates that at some point he'll be convinced by someone, probably someone blue, who from personal experience knows how all the emotions are really important to Riley, since she herself thought she wasn't useful, when in fact, she was the one who ended up bringing Riley back to her family. And let's agree, Embarrassed is a necessary emotion, since because of it, we can avoid doing things that can really mark us forever. But we can't say the same for Envious. Unlike Embarrassed, Envious is quite small, and just like in terms of size, we can say that its effects are also totally the opposite of the pink guy's, because he's big and harmless, while she's small and very, very dangerous. Despite her innocent and childish appearance, the truth is that Envious, when nurtured, ends up growing and becoming something very bad that consumes everything in its path. And we can say that's basically what's expected of this new emotion, since we see her speaking a few times, especially when it's about Riley's friendship with the popular girl, which means that's something Envious wants. But why? Well, that's actually pretty easy. Most people think Envious only applies to material things, but that's not true. Envious also desires the relationships that people have, and most of the time wants to take the place of another person. And I believe that might be what happens in the movie, since we see Riley sacrificing her friendship with 2 other girls to be in the company of a larger group.
Let's do this. Hey, Riley! But we need new friends or we'll be totally alone in high school.
It's pretty obvious that Envious is very happy when she does this, which shows she really has no scruples. And more, she might be inducing Anxiety to do all those things we see in the trailer, which would make her a manipulative person. But because she's so cute, she's above suspicion. But she doesn't fool us, and the movie will prove we're right. Those who watch it will probably confirm that.
I'm Envy. Oh, look at your hair. Oh yeah, not happening.
Love! One thing that caught a lot of attention is the fact that before, there were 5 basic emotions. Now, there will be 9. And 9 is kind of an incomplete number since only 1 is missing to complete the 10, which is a very symbolic number, which gives room for us to imagine that there really is a great chance of a 10th emotion appearing at some point, which could end up surprising everyone. I mean, everyone who doesn't watch our channel. And for sure, if that happens, the best option for a new emotion will be love. And the trailer gives some pretty strong hints that this could happen. For example, when we see several monitors in Riley's mind, we can see 2 really cool things. One of them is that on one of the monitors, Riley is hiding someone's face because of her braces. Maybe some piece of lettuce got stuck in there, but it's obvious she doesn't want the boy next to her to see that. And on the other side, we see the popular girl facing forward, and in the background it looks like Riley and a boy in a green shirt. And it's not just that, it looks like they're holding hands, which means Riley's dad is probably going to have someone over soon. But seriously, a potential boyfriend for Riley would be the perfect trigger for the emergence of a new emotion. which could be love. And since we only had embarrassed as a new male emotion, then it's certain that if love appears, it should be masculine, which kind of balances the emotions in Riley's mind. Also, he would help guide Riley through the new challenges of the heart she's definitely going to face. After all, love solves almost everything. And if you think it would be amazing for the emotion responsible for passion to arise in Riley's little head, comment down below. #love. Anxiety. About anxiety, we can see that initially she doesn't seem like she wants to do harm,
Cool! We can't let her know we're excited.
but just someone who wants to fit in, and as she herself says, make a good impression.
We wanted to make such a good first impression.
And really, anxiety has two sides of the same coin, because while she can make people afraid of the future, she's also responsible for helping people make plans so that everything goes well, which helps a lot. The catch is that it seems she's going overboard and inside out, as besides confining the old emotions inside a glass jar, she's also going to extremes in planning the future. This is because she starts acting totally like the CEO of a big company and has several employees working for her, coming up with plans so that Riley succeeds. And even though we know her intention is to do the best for Riley, she's definitely going down the wrong path, making Riley not feel joy or any of the basic emotions she and anyone else have, which is something very, very dangerous. Our guess is that at some point she'll realize that what she's been doing is actually doing much more harm than good to Riley herself, putting at risk the most important thing she wants to help the girl have: success in life. And at that moment, she might realize that she's being manipulated by something or someone else, and then she becomes just another one of Riley's emotions and not the main one. Maybe if Joy had let her mess around a bit with Riley's control center table, none of this would have happened. Joy always doing things that upset the other emotions. Seems like that never changes.
Joy, I'm just curious, maybe, I could
Thank you,
help?
not now.
Onwe. Onwe is certainly the emotion that's hardly mentioned throughout most of the trailer, except when she's formally introduced. Other than that, she's only seen in some moments doing what she does best: absolutely nothing. You might not know, but even ennui has a good side. This is because ennui is a mood state that's largely responsible for fostering creativity. Since when we're bored with something that's dull, we try to imagine a way to make it more fun. After all, who hasn't had an idea while taking a shower, which is an activity we do every day? Or at least we should. In this way, we can say that the ennui emotion is what makes us rethink how we act or do things. And that might be exactly where ennui can become important in the movie, since I highly doubt Pixar created a new emotion for her to spend an entire movie lying down messing with her phone. Ennui might very well, because she has nothing better to do, be responsible for freeing Riley's 5 old emotions, because we know they escape from there somehow. Another thing that could happen is ennui showing anxiety that the method she's using to try to make Riley a successful girl is actually a very bad and wrong thing. In this sense, she could also help save Riley herself. Or who knows, both of the things we've mentioned here could even happen. But for sure, ennui won't be just a supporting emotion in this movie.
It's what you would call the boredom.
That's all we've discovered and noticed about each of the 4 new emotions, and also the possibly 5th emotion that we believe will indeed appear in Inside Out 2. Like the video? Subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button down below. And as a reward for being our subscriber, we've left 2 very cool videos for you to choose one and watch now. Just choose the one that suits you best, click on it, and have fun. Thanks, and until next time.